In the heart of the Sunda Strait, between the Indonesian islands of Java and Sumatra, lies a name that echoes through history with explosive force: Krakatoa. For centuries, it was just another island, a green jewel in a tropical sea. But in 1883, it unleashed a power so immense it would be heard thousands of miles away, altering the global climate and forever cementing its place in the annals of natural disasters. This is the story of Krakatoa, a tale of cataclysmic destruction, scientific discovery, and fiery rebirth. Our story begins not in 1883, but thousands of years earlier. The region where Krakatoa sits is a geological battleground, part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Here, the Indo-Australian plate dives beneath the Eurasian plate, a process called subduction. This immense pressure melts rock deep within the Earth, creating magma that rises to the surface, fueling a chain of volcanoes. Long before the Krakatoa we know, a much larger volcano stood in its place. Geologists call it Proto-Krakatoa. Around the year 535 AD, this ancient giant is believed to have erupted with even greater force than its famous successor, likely triggering a period of global cooling and contributing to widespread famine. The eruption was so colossal that it caused the entire mountain to collapse into the sea, forming a massive underwater caldera, a huge basin-like depression. All that remained were a few small islands on the rim of this submerged crater: Rakata, Serting, and Panjang. For over 1,000 years, the volcanic system lay dormant, slowly rebuilding its strength. A new volcanic cone began to grow from the caldera floor, eventually merging with Rakata to form the island known as Krakatoa. By the 19th century, Krakatoa was a lush, uninhabited island, about 9 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide. It was a familiar landmark for sailors navigating the busy Sunda Strait, a key shipping lane for the Dutch East Indies. But deep beneath the tranquil green canopy, pressure was building once again. The first signs of trouble appeared in May 1883. Residents on nearby islands reported hearing rumblings and feeling the ground shake. Ships passing through the strait saw massive columns of ash and steam rising from Perbawatan, one of Krakatoa's 3 volcanic cones. The activity was dramatic but initially not alarming. Volcanic eruptions were common in this part of the world. Some curious sightseers even chartered boats to get a closer look at the spectacle. They had no idea they were witnessing the prelude to one of the most violent events in recorded history. For the next 3 months, the volcano simmered. It would belch ash and steam, then fall quiet, lulling the region into a false sense of security. But this was the calm before the storm. The vents were becoming clogged with hardened lava, trapping immense quantities of gas and pressure beneath. It was a time bomb ticking towards a catastrophic detonation. The final, cataclysmic phase began on the afternoon of August 26th. A thunderous explosion ripped through the air, sending an ash cloud 25 kilometers into the sky. The eruptions grew progressively more violent throughout the night, with a continuous, deafening roar. Sailors on ships dozens of kilometers away reported hot ash raining down and balls of fire, known as St. Elmo's fire, dancing on their masts. Then, at 10:02 a.m. on August 27, 1883, Krakatoa produced its 4th and most powerful explosion. The sound it generated is still the loudest noise ever recorded in human history. It was heard with perfect clarity over 3,000 kilometers away in Perth, Australia, and 4,800 kilometers away on the island of Rodrigues near Mauritius, where witnesses described it as the distant roar of heavy guns. The force of the blast was staggering, estimated to be 13,000 times the power of the atomic bomb that devastated Hiroshima. It generated an atmospheric shockwave that circled the globe 7 times. Barographs, instruments that measure air pressure, registered the spike as it passed through cities from London to Washington, D.C. The explosion completely obliterated the northern 2/3 of the island, vaporizing rock and sending it high into the atmosphere. The immediate aftermath was apocalyptic. A pyroclastic flow, a superheated cloud of gas, ash, and rock raced across the surface of the sea at hurricane speeds, incinerating everything in its path. It reached the coast of Sumatra, 40 kilometers away, killing thousands instantly. But the greatest loss of life came from the tsunamis. The collapse of the volcano into its own magma chamber displaced a colossal volume of water, generating a series of massive waves. Some reports claim the waves reached heights of over 40 meters, the equivalent of a 12-story building. They crashed onto the shores of Java and Sumatra, sweeping away more than 165 coastal villages and towns. Entire communities vanished without a trace. The official death toll was placed at 36,417, though the true number is likely much higher. The waves were so powerful that their effects were detected as far away as the English Channel. The world was plunged into darkness. The sheer volume of ash and sulfur dioxide shot into the stratosphere created a veil that shrouded the planet. For the next 3 years, global temperatures dropped by an average of 1.2 degrees Celsius. The particles in the atmosphere scattered sunlight, producing spectacular, vividly colored sunsets that were seen all around the world. These fiery red and orange skies were so unusual they inspired artists, most famously Edvard Munch, whose iconic painting The Scream is believed to depict a blood-red sky over Norway, likely caused by the lingering aerosols from Krakatoa's eruption. The 1883 eruption was a landmark event not just for its destructive power, but for its impact on science. It was one of the first global news stories, with telegraph cables spreading word of the disaster around the world in a matter of hours. This enabled a coordinated international effort to study its effects. Scientists analyzed the atmospheric shockwaves, the global temperature drop, and the stunning sunsets, leading to new understandings of atmospheric circulation and the far-reaching impact of volcanic eruptions on climate. The event effectively gave birth to the modern science of volcanology. In the years following the eruption, a strange phenomenon was observed. Pumice, volcanic rock so light it floats, washed ashore on beaches across the Indian Ocean, carrying with it a surprising cargo of life. Spiders, seeds, and small insects had rafted across the sea on these pumice stones, beginning the slow process of recolonizing the sterilized remnants of Krakatoa. Within a few decades, what was once a barren, ash-covered landscape was once again teeming with life, a testament to nature's incredible resilience. But the story doesn't end there. The geological forces that destroyed Krakatoa were still at work. In 1927, less than 50 years after the cataclysm, fishermen reported steam and debris rising from the water in the center of the old caldera. The volcano was being reborn. A new volcanic cone was growing from the seabed. The locals named it Anak Krakatau, which means child of Krakatoa. For the next 90 years, Anak Krakatau grew steadily, emerging from the sea and building itself into a formidable mountain reaching over 300 meters in height. It was a living laboratory for scientists, allowing them to study how new ecosystems form on a sterile island. And just like its parent, it was active, frequently erupting and reminding everyone of the power that still lay beneath. That power was unleashed once again in December 2018. A section of Anak Krakatau's cone collapsed into the sea, triggering another tsunami. While not on the scale of 1883, the waves struck the coasts of Java and Sumatra with little warning, tragically killing over 400 people. The event was a stark reminder that the child of Krakatoa possesses the same deadly potential as its parent. The collapse reduced the volcano's height by 2/3, but it has already begun to rebuild itself, continuing the relentless cycle of destruction and creation. Today, Anak Krakatau remains one of the most closely monitored volcanoes in the world. It stands as a symbol of nature's raw, untamable power. The story of Krakatoa is a powerful lesson in humility, showing us that despite all our technological advances, we live on a dynamic and volatile planet. From the colossal explosion of Proto-Krakatoa to the deafening roar of 1883 and the fiery birth of its child, Krakatoa's legacy is written in fire, ash, and water, a cycle that continues to this day, shaping our world in ways we are still just beginning to understand. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of the volcano. If you found this story fascinating, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the powerful forces that shape our world. We'll see you next time.